Hello, lovely listeners, and good morning, Kim.
Good morning, Joe. Good morning, everyone. It's Kim and Joe, one harmonical, back for another message. Uh, Today we're going to talk about that one person, or you may have a many, but that one person that you were attracted to in the past. Maybe they had some really cool talent, some strength, maybe they were able to stand up to people that you weren't able to stand up to, and you were just like enthralled with this person. And you're like, man, I want to be friends with that person. I want to be like that person. That person has like something I don't have, whether it's the looks, whether it's their charisma. But you're drawn to that person. And you're like, cool. And that person's like, yeah, I can help you. I can totally help you out. Like, yeah, pull this side of you out. You want to be like this? I'll help you out. And they do that. And all of a sudden you get to the point where you're just like, wait a sec. Um, you start having a little bit of judgment feelings. You start feeling like something's off between you two. Um, Maybe you're like, oh, that person's kind of a B. Oh, I guess I didn't see that before. And then all of a sudden you start hearing, oh, this is when once you start doubting or judging this relationship, how it started, it started off with like great intention. Like, I want to learn to be like that person. Okay. Right there, we did something wrong. Right there, we chose to be like somebody else instead of being like ourselves. So,
External
yep,
focused rather than internal focused.
yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
But it might have got you to a spot where you actually were now doing some internal healing and you didn't
Yeah.
know it. And we started doing some self-judging, some self-criticism. We wanted to put blame on the other person for something that's not happening within ourselves. All they were doing, they were holding their space. They were holding that intention that you initially signed up for to be around. They held it for you. You get to do with it as you want. You cannot blame them. You cannot judge them at all. Um, and some people would call, I've seen this in the clinic where people come in and like, oh, I'm with this relationship. It's such a toxic relationship, or this person's narcissistic. I'm like, but really, are they? Or why did you start the relationship? Oh, it started off great. And then what happened? Well, this and that. And they put blame on everybody else instead of seeing within themselves. Where the true healing comes in is like going internally and being like, oh, I was drawn to this. I'm trying to clear what is happening inside is you're clearing up your own garbage, your own fears, your own old belief systems basically are coming up to the surface for you to see that don't align anymore with you. So say you wanted to be a rock star. I think a rock star. Say you want to be a rock star. So you start hanging out with these rock star people on the side, and all of a sudden you're just like, well, now they're just not the right person. Well, it was great for a little while. Now they just turned into this and they're being mean to me and they're criticizing me, or I'm not getting where I want to be right now. They're not helping me anymore. Um, to align with that, what they're doing is they're helping you to clear out your blocks to actually be that great rock star. They're going to continue to be who they are. They are strong with who they are and they're holding that strength. But when you start judging things, that's on you.
Or start blaming.
Yep. Yep.
Judging or blaming or gossiping, deflecting.
Yes.
There's just loads of words for it. Will all diminish our capacity to, self-regulate, self-heal, any of that.
Yep.
Because then we can become very focused on this person that we once were, like you said, attracted to for whatever reason. And instead of being focused on that, and then, like you're saying, what we can see and now learn and grow internally, instead of doing that process, people will distract themselves and blame that person and gossip and quite honestly bitch about them, you know? And it, what, if you start doing that, you're really literally harming yourself. You're harming your own healing process, It's like you have to really stop and reflect and choose what you want to create inside of you. You want to create the opportunity to learn, grow, overcome obstacles, take down blocks, whatever it might be? Or would you prefer to distract yourself and, blame, gossip, find people, that you can grow this blame on someone else and, whatever. I keep getting this, when you go that route, and we've all done it at times, when you go that route, it's very, that's what becomes toxic internally to ourselves. We're creating our own toxic environment. And what's really tricky about it then is that we'll say that person is toxic.
Yes. Yep.
And perhaps they are. But we could have chosen at any point to either not engage in that toxicity or quell it or minimize it or, and it's so powerful, our choice, what we decide to engage with and how.
And when it's okay to just say, I'm done with this relationship. I'm done with that. Or you can literally say, okay, I understand they were helping me see a part of myself that I could not see. I didn't know was even deep down buried. Like this anger, this frustration, they actually helped bring that outside of me. Okay, maybe they don't need to be around you anymore, but they brought it out. So you have to be grateful that they brought something out inside of you. And you can be with that, be at peace with that and saying like, thank you. Thank you for bringing that out. Doesn't mean I need to stay in the relationship, but they did what they were supposed to for you. And the more you acknowledge that and just thank them for being in your path when they need to be in your path and letting them go. And then looking at yourself and saying, ooh, I'm grateful that this came up to the surface so I can get past my own blocks. I can get past those judgment things that is blocking my own self-healing. That was my journey started to be a rock star. They showed me where some of my weaknesses are that prevents me from being the rock star I want to be. Like, awesome. Okay, cool. Now what do I need to do to keep moving on? What do I need to keep moving forward?
Mhm. And at this juncture, it seems and it appears kind of complicated or complex. And it's like it is when we let these things, grow. They are not near as complex or difficult when we tune in and tend to them very early on. It's like when you tend to it very early on that you realize this person, that you used to admire is now causing you difficulties. When you tend to that, internally tend to that, it's quite a bit easier. When you let it go and you can become an ostrich, stick your head in the sand and pretend like that person isn't, whatever. Now you end up getting into more complexity and like having to back yourself, out of that situation, if you will. And it's just like there's just more layers to it. So it's just interesting because a lot of times you feel, it's so complex. And I'm just going to say it like we make it complex ourselves. So if it's that complex, we made that complex. And then that's our journey to get out of that complexity and maybe not replicate that again. Right. It's really, if I were to give it all one word, what we've just discussing right now in terms of self-healing, is it's awareness. And awareness is like shining a light on it. At whatever juncture you shine a light on something where you see it is magnificent. If you do it early, it's a little simpler.
Yes.
If you do it later, it's a little more complex. But again, staying out of judging it, that doesn't matter. When you shine the light on it, bring it to your awareness. That's the magnificent self-healing moment.
Mm-hmm. Ah, absolutely. I love this. Oh, yep. Awesome. And then all of a sudden, bloop, 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 and that's all, folks. Oh my goodness. Who is that guy?
Uh,
The
it's a
cartoon.
cartoon. It's a cartoon.
Yeah.
Gosh, like goodness. Have like a funny thing.
Yeah, or something.
Yeah. That's all, folks. Okay.
Oh, thank you, Jill. Thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you, Kim, and thank you for listening. Until next time.